All right. Essential words? For IELTS, TOEFL, CAE, any test you want to take. Now, we have the simple word, allow. To allow. So, like I said, never learn a word without a phrase or a sentence. So how would you use the word allow? Saki.
Yeah.
Lisa, sorry. Stop. How would you use the word allow?
I was allowed to go out by my parents.
She was allowed to go out by her parents. That was a very beautiful grammatical sentence when she was only 5, all alone with her boyfriend. So, yes. For example, you're not allowed to do something, right? To be allowed to, or to be not allowed to be allowed to do something. We're not allowed to enter here. You're not allowed to enter. You're not allowed to enter this room. You know, there are some rooms when people are not allowed to enter. They usually say, what does the sign say on those rooms? It's a sign saying staff or employee only, huh? Only. So staff only, or employees only, staff only, or authorized personnel only. Authorized personnel only. And personnel is different from personal. Against. Yeah. So dogs are not allowed. There was a movie by Bruce Lee. I don't know if you remember. He's like this, and there was a sign reading, "Dogs in Chinese not allowed," something like that. And he jumps high into the sky, and he learned those tricks from me. And then he kicks that sign down. Yeah. I felt like doing it. I was worried about my crotch. It's like so smoking is not allowed here. Yeah? Smoking is not allowed here. You're not allowed to smoke here. Yes? You're not allowed to smoke here. Allowed. No. So to be allowed. Bless you. Now, but the word allow, what's as a verb, right? To allow for has a different meaning. Allow for. So you're preparing for 10 people. 10 people are supposed to come. That's your estimate. So you're preparing your dinner for 10 people. And I would say, okay, allow for 2 more people. You never know. So if we say, allow for 2 more people. And I would say, you never know. You never know.
So you can use allow for when you kind of plan ahead and always expect the unexpected. Okay.
So when you're planning for your trip, allow for contingencies like adverse weather conditions. Allow for, in your planning, you should allow for, when you plan, you need to allow for some unexpected things. Unbidden guests. Who's an unbidden guest? You know an unbidden guest? Unbidden guest would be uninvited. Sometimes unwelcome. Unbidden guest would be uninvited and unwelcome. An unbidden guest. Or unbidden guest. So to allow for would mean, you know what it means. And I would go to allow, just to make sure that would leave nothing behind. Allow someone to do something. Women are not allowed to enter the mosque. What? My parents wouldn't allow me to go to the party with my pants down. Don't allow your problems to dominate your life. Allow somebody something. Passengers are allowed one item of hand luggage. How much time are we allowed? Are we given? Allow somebody in. I don't allow the cat in the bedroom. The audience is not allowed backstage. Something is not allowed. Our dictionary allowed in the exam? Allow for. Our new system will allow for more efficient use of resources. Allow someone to do something. Allow somebody something. Allow something for. I've allowed half a bottle of wine for each person. Allow me. Allow me. So, if it's very polite in sessions and formal meetings, allow me. Allow me to introduce means let me. So allow me. You want to pour some of this in something, and you're trying to pour. Go ahead. Here's a glass. Yeah. Allow me. This is exactly the context in which it's used. So allow me means let me. It's a bit more formal. And I was like, you want to reach out for this? Allow me, please. So, because, yeah. That's allow me. Sometimes I would say, allow me to introduce my great friend and one of the best contributors to this cause. Allow me to introduce. So the reason why I linger on every single word is that the problem with you guys is that usually you pass the words like zhoop without learning. But you gotta learn the words and the phrases within which those words appear. Now, you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to stay here more than 2 weeks. Can I stay here one more day? No. My wife had a heart attack, and I have 2 more years to live, and 1 more day to look for a new one. And you have only a couple of hours to move out and find a new homestay for yourself. So, do you think I'm wasting time at this age? I don't even buy green bananas. So, but what is allowance? Allowance.
I think when somebody gives you his allowance, he is giving you his blessings to do whatever you like. Okay. Just a try.
Nice try. This is American English for pocket money.
Oh.
So you're grounded, Sabrina. I'm taking your allowance away for 2 more weeks because you pushed the car out, and worse. Were you ever grounded as a child?
Yeah.
Your allowance was taken away maybe for a week or so?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Good parents. And when you look back, do you like your parents for doing what they did when they grounded you? Do you think they were right? Would you do the same thing to your kid?
Yeah, I do.
That's a fair child. To ground a child. Like, you're grounded. You're grounded. Now, a family made huge headlines by grounding their children for Christmas, saying you're not getting, Santa Claus is not bringing you crap. Santa Claus is bringing you nothing. So you're grounded. Saki, were you ever grounded as a child? No? Never grounded?
You said Saki.
Saki.
Huh?
You say
You said
you
Saki.
call me Saki. Is it on purpose?
No.
No, this something's happening to me. I need to go see a doctor. Kay, were you ever grounded? What's happening to me? Okay.
Never?
Never.
Never grounded? Saki ever grounded?
Yeah.
Yeah? See, she was grounded. How, you were grounded like you had to stay in your room? No phone calls? Yeah? How about pocket money? Was your pocket money taken away also? No? Pocket money? What kind of grounded is that? Huh? You were not just allowed to have sex? That was it? No phone calls maybe? Yeah? That's good. Nice parents, I like it. And he's enjoying it. And he's having fun. You know we have that word in English that comes from German, Schadenfreude?
Uh-huh.
So Schadenfreude is with happiness from someone else's sadness, right? Right? Somebody else is sad and you're happy. How do you pronounce it?
Schadenfreude.
Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude. So when a child is grounded, usually the allowance is taken away, and the parents usually take away the rights of that child. The allowance is cut, they stop it. So let's say goodbye to this for now. Some things that are allowable or not allowable, of course. Allowable or not allowable. If something is allowable, you can do it. If it's not allowable, you cannot do it. Yeah. That was so good. How could I miss that? Of course I can miss anything today, I don't know. Something's happening, something's wrong. Okay, now, we have some synonyms for the word allow. Allow, let, permit, what else? How about disallow?
Prohibit.
Can you give me an example for that?
Prohibit.
Now, let me help you with that. The goal was disallowed by the referee. It's used mostly in soccer. The goal was disallowed by whom? By the referee. The goal was disallowed, means not accepted. Like in soccer, in football. There's a goal. And the referee says, no, it's not allowed. It's disallowed. The goal is disallowed by the referee.
Unaccepted.
Not accepted, right? You know, the goal is the ball goes in there. They don't use unaccepted in football, right? So the referee says no goal, it wasn't goal. So they always say disallowed. The goal was disallowed. So that's it. But now we have allow, let, permit, yeah. And then as a noun you have license, yeah. And not allow, what else, what words do we have here? To ban, to prohibit,
To forbid.
to forbid, thank you. Thank you. To inhibit. That's different. A little bit different. So, he allowed me to stay for 2 more weeks. Yeah, he allowed me to stay for 2 more weeks. He let me stay 2 more weeks. Let, allow. Right? Easy. Let me go. Permit. What's a noun?
Permission.
Right? No.
Yes.
No.
Double S?
Yeah.
Yeah. Permit, permission. If you want to go hunting here, you need a permit. So permit as a verb and noun. So you need a permit. So permit as a noun is different from permission, right? So permit is usually a written permission. Written permission. So if you need a permit for hunting, a permit for driving, a permit for something, its permit is a written permission. So, do you have your dad's permission now that you're coming to this class? Anyone who enters race class should have parental permission or consent. Yeah? Do they know about the consequences? So permission is different from permit. Do you know about the consequences? That's number one thing. It's a setup. First you get moved out, it's a setup. There's been, yeah. And then you have nowhere to go, but Ray has a room. And he first offers it to the ladies, but then he says, look, now that they're not coming, so come on. Everything happens so naturally. Yeah. So, I don't need anyone's permission to do this or that. I can do it. All I want. But do you need a permit for driving in certain areas? Yes. Do you need a permit if you want to go hunting in certain places? Yes. You need to have sometimes a license and a permit. So a license and permit are very close. You need to have a license for practicing nursing. But she also needs a permit. But there's a difference between license and permit. It's a matter of wording here. Sometimes they say you need a license for this. For example, as a teacher, I need to have a license. Yeah. So, just to show you, I don't know why today I'm carrying it. If I am, I hope so. Oh, here. This is from Tesla, Canada. For some reason, today I'm carrying it because I'm going somewhere. And this is something they give you with something golden. And they will write your big name here. Since it's 4 freaking names, I'd rather make it very simple. And this is called, this is a certificate, but this is basically a license to teach anywhere in Canada. So, a permit, the difference would be, I already have a license. It would be a chartered or licensed, for example, teacher, Canadian teacher. But on the other hand, you would need to have a permit for certain places. Now, she gets her, you got your permit or license, which one?
Permit.
She got her permit.
When you got your permit, you can have your license after.
After the permit. So nursing. It's different from, she's got her. So you get a permit and a license. You want to go hunting here? You need to have, so we know permit and license. Permission is like, do I have your permission to? We have blessing for girls who want to get married. They need to have their dad's blessing. Blessing. Do you have your dad's blessing? They went to her dad to ask for his blessing. So the root, the boy goes to the girl's father to ask for his blessing, and he doesn't give him the blessing, so he takes the bride away. Yeah. Yeah, you remember? You're so rude.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, the song.
When I'm gonna marry her anyway. Yeah? So, because the dad refuses to give his blessing. He refuses to give his blessing.
Is it really like this? That the marriage will not take place before the father gives his
Yeah, of course,
blessing?
father should bless them at the wedding, right?
You
Okay.
have to ask
Obviously,
them to
can it be?
Oh, yeah, and what if the bride and the man, when they're so in love with each other that they can't do without each other, and the father simply refuses his blessing. So it's really the fact that they can't marry at all.
No,
can.
they can, but it's not something illegal. It's just, but the father has every right to say, like, I don't want to see you guys anymore. Sometimes they have the right to disinherit. You know, to disinherit.
Yeah.
So your father must.
Some fathers
sign
take drastic
to
actions.
get married. You need your father signature.
You don't.
To
You don't need that.
Is it?
Yeah.
it's part of the custom, right? So it's customary for
But your dad don't need to sign anything.
Okay.
yeah. So to disinherit someone, so the dad could decide to disinherit his own daughter
Yeah.
or son. Yeah, it means put him out of the will. Yeah. Sake. You married that Korean guy? You can disinherit.
Okay, that's it.
And worse, he has a Samsung.
Right?
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. I should talk to your father. So disinherit. Person will be disinherited. Okay, could you marry a Chinese? Or you'll be disinherited. Okay. So you're allowed to, you're not allowed to, and permit someone to do something. You're permitted to do something. You need permission for that. But you need a permit, means a written permission. Good. A license is very close to that. Now, if something is banned, you say this book is banned in my country. Yeah? It's banned. Means you can't publish that book.
Did you say banished normally?
Banished is different. So if you get banished, you get exiled. So to banish someone means like to exile, somehow to exile someone. To excommunicate someone. To excommunicate. Ostracize someone. To ostracize someone. That's a good word. It's a good place for it. So to ostracize, to exclude someone from a society or group. If you're banished, or, do you know these words? When you exile someone, you kick them out of the country because of, usually for political reasons. He was exiled from Germany. Do you remember any renowned German who's been exiled from your country? For political reasons, of course, when you're exiled. To live in exile. To live in exile. To live in exile. Very good word. To live in exile. So when you're banished, it's different from ban. So banish, send someone away from a country or a place as an official punishment. Exile, expel, deport, eject, expatriate, ostracize, extradite, repatriate, transport, and more. So we also have deport. Which is a little different. So when you banish somebody, you send somebody out of their country, like you exile someone. When you exile someone, you know, sometimes people, for political reasons, they are exiled from their own countries. They're kicked out of their countries. They are sent to some island somewhere or someplace, just go live there. Sometimes in a penal colony. Napoleon was exiled from France. He was exiled from France and he was sent to some island. When you're deported, it's different. Like you come to Canada and you have your visa, but you do something wrong and they deport you. They kick you out. They send you back to your country. Excommunicate, to kick someone out of a community, especially from a church. So the priest was excommunicated for certain accusations. Now what happens to you if you're a priest and you have problems with, for example, child pornography or molestation? What happens to you? You get promoted. No? No. No. You actually get sometimes excommunicated and defrocked. That is, you take your frock away from you and they excommunicate you and nobody talks to you anymore. So ostracize is like that. When they ostracize you, my family all ostracized me. Everybody abandoned me. Everyone.
Can you say the outcast of you?
Is an outcast. He's a social outcast. A person who's ostracized and no one actually wants to bother socialize with would be an outcast. We usually don't say they outcast me. Say he's an outcast as a noun, a social outcast. A maverick of sorts. But so to banish someone, to exile someone, to deport someone, to excommunicate someone, to ostracize someone, exclude. If you're excluded from a class or a list or a group or anything, that is, you're kicked out of. Include, exclude, of course. Include, exclude. To live in exile, he spent half his life in exile. He lived in exile for 10 years. He spent half his life in exile. So you live in exile. To expatriate also is to, and the expats, but we don't need it. But banned. This book is banned in my country. Banned. Which book? Something. The book Satanic Verses. Satanic Verses. Satanic Verses is a book that is banned in many Muslim countries. They say the person who wrote it, the author is known to be a heretic. Heretic. Charges of heresy. I should have talked about these words in religion, but I think I didn't. So, are there banned books in Japan that they can't publish? No?
No,
No banned books?
I think so.
Can you write a book about me? It wouldn't be banned?
I'm not going to do that.
You're not going to do that.
Maybe if there is book like that you don't know. I think so. Recently, I know that we also have a lot of banned books, but
Yeah, banned books in your country too. Definitely there are banned books in your country. There are banned books everywhere. For example, can you,
I didn't know it until now. So I think
when you want to publish a book, can everybody publish a book in your country? Or do you need a special permit to, you need a permit to get a book published?
sure.
For example, can you write a book and praise Hitler in your book and publish it in Japan? Can you do that? Yes?
So, yeah.
Can you write a book and say bad things about Akihito? And get it published in Japan?
I'm not sure.
Uh-huh. So some books are banned in every country in the world because there are political systems and they don't like certain books to be published. So both, yeah. Some people are banned, some things are banned. So, prohibit. If you're prohibited from doing something, guns are prohibited in the classroom. Guns are prohibited in the classroom. And the noun for this would be prohibition. Prohibition. Guns are prohibited in the classroom. And it's going to be prohibition. Prohibited. Prohibition. To be prohibited from doing something. To be prohibited or banned from doing something. You say my religion prohibits sex before marriage. Before marriage. Or prohibits me from having sex before marriage. My religion prohibits me from having sex before marriage. Ban. Ban somebody from doing something. Charlie's been banned from driving for a year. A banned substance or drug, banning, the banning of trade unions. Is banned from driving. He can't drive. Banned from driving. Now, there is a difference from ban and prohibition. There should be a part where we talk about synonyms. So, ban, prohibit. So smoking is strictly prohibited inside the factory. They are prohibited from revealing details about the candidates. Smoking is, guns are prohibited in the classroom, means not allowed. Smoking is strictly prohibited. strictly prohibited in the classroom. I like it. Strictly prohibited. Amazing. A great collocation. Strictly prohibited. Learn that. Strictly prohibited. I'm trying to memorize. Strictly prohibited. Strictly prohibited. Strictly prohibited. Strictly prohibited. Strictly prohibited. Yeah. People have different habits. Some people bump their heads against the wall, and some girls usually pull their hair, or you know, at the end once they're done, they look at the mirror. It's like half the hair is gone. It's like it's on. Yeah. I had this girly habit, I guess. I did a lot of studying. So, in the US, we had Prohibition. It was a period when alcohol was prohibited. If you talk about Prohibition in the US, and it was in early 20th century. So, Prohibition in the US, and I hope I'll get a Wikipedia. So in the US, prohibition refers to is a legal act of prohibiting the manufacture, storage, transportation, and sale of alcohol, including alcoholic beverages. And this was in the US in the history in the 1600 whatever, let me go in the US, in the United States, 1920 to 1933. For 13 years in the US, production, manufacturing, and the storage of alcohol was prohibited, but it never worked. Do you like to play with some wire? I'll give you some wire from it there. The wire was somehow under your... Okay. So, for 13 years, and commonly referred to the United States, what the hell? I'm talking about prohibition, I'm not talking about this. So, yeah. So in the United States, prohibition focused on manufacture, transportation, whatever alcohol nationwide from until 1920 began in the United States until went into effect and was repealed in 1933. Was taken out. It was repealed. So yeah, if you ever hear about prohibition in the U.S., it means that period in the history of the U.S. for 13 years, 1920 to 1933, when alcohol beverages, the storage, keeping, selling, and all that was prohibited. People could not keep it. That's prohibition. So, the law prohibits you from doing that. The law forbids you from doing something. You're forbidden. My religion forbids me from drinking alcohol. It's forbidden.
Forbidden love.
Yeah, forbidden love. Forbidden. Adam and Eve, they ate from the forbidden trees. They ate the forbidden fruit. To forbid someone to do something or from doing something. It is forbidden. What is the past tense of forbid, Chris?
Forbade.
You're good. You know what? You're good.
What's the difference between prohibit and forbid? Does a prohibition refer to a law that forbids you something, and when you...
I'll tell you in just a bit. So forbid. Something is not allowed. Forbid someone to do something. Remember. Or forbid someone from doing something. Both are correct. Forbid someone to do something or from doing something. Very important. You are forbidden to enter. He was forbidden to leave the house as a punishment. Women are forbidden from going out without a veil. Women are forbidden. Women are forbidden in certain countries, for example, let's say in Saudi Arabia, women are forbidden from going out without a veil. Some kind of a head covering, right? Veil. Hijab. Without hijab. Hijab is the Arabic word that is in English now for the things that women or religious wear. And sometimes it's hard to know if it's a woman or a man because it's a burqa. No reaction from me. And no comments.
Great.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yay.
Yeah. In your dreams. No, I'm kidding. Okay. Come on, we've been doing this only for 40 minutes. Before that, we were having a break, a huge break, like 40-minute break. That basically means we don't have a break until the end of this week. No, just a few minutes. Let's finish this part.
It's
And then
never just few minutes.
Yeah.
It is.
It's gonna be forever.
Really.
Prohibition to so let's review the series that we have here. You are forbidden to. I was forbidden from talking to my boyfriend, my girlfriend. Yeah, I could talk to my girlfriends, but not my boyfriends. Forbidden to do something. Forbidden from doing something. So in certain countries. In certain Muslim countries, women are forbidden from leaving home, going out, without a veil. I was forbidden to speaking any language other than English is strictly, let's remember, strictly forbidden here, or prohibited. You're not allowed to speak any language other than English, but English, except English, right? Or you will be banned from leaving school
And
Forever.
leaving school.
forever. That is, you'll have to stay here. If I make it colder, you'll... So, are we good with forbid? Do not use, that was the forbidden fruit. It is forbidden to, it is forbidden to, it is forbidden to carry liquids on American Airlines. American Airlines. Or liquids are forbidden. You cannot take even toothpaste. After 9/11, there were strict anti-terrorism laws in place by the TSA. You are forbidden to take certain liquids on board the planes. It is forbidden to do that. In some countries, some certain things are forbidden. What can you give me some examples of forbidden things in Germany? Is prostitution forbidden in Germany?
It is allowed on specific areas, but for example, it is forbidden to paint a swastika on anything, or have a flag, or even with video games. When there are American video games published in Germany, they usually publish a special German version in which all those swastika flags are in some way altered.
Do you know, guys, what swastika is? This is a swastika. Banned! So that's a swastika. This was the Nazi Germany.
Swastika.
I was when I played this game as a child, and I was always Hitler as a child. house and I had this thing. That was the childish game. So it's the swastika thing.
Swastika.
Swastika, they call this the swastika. It's forbidden in many countries, and ironically, it's forbidden in Germany, but not in the U.S.
Yeah.
It's interesting, right?
I think it is allowed in any country in Europe except for Germany, even in Austria.
Yeah. What is the exact German pronunciation of the word?
We don't say swastika.
You don't say it. Wow. Even say it is.
No, it is allowed to say, but we have a different term for it. So we don't say swastika.
So what do you say?
Hakenkreuz.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Let me learn the German one.
It's like
Hakenkreuz.
hook, cross.
Oh, Hakenkreuz.
Ah.
So where does the word swastika? It's not English. It's German. It's not.
It is not German.
So does this, maybe it's the old German word for crap. That's why they're using it in English. Okay, so anyways, just to wrap things up. You'll be allowed to do something, you will not be allowed to do certain things. You'll be prohibited from doing certain things, you'll be forbidden from doing things or forbidden to do some things. Some things are forbidden in your religion or in your country or in your place. If a book is banned, they cannot publish that book, you can't buy that book, you can't get it. You're forbidden to leave your room. You're forbidden to smoke. Smoking is not allowed here. Inhibit is from inside. So something inside me inhibits me from doing something. And that's it. And then we have a break. I promise. Promise to promise. So usually we have my conscience inhibits me from stealing, lying, or cheating. So it's a force usually from within. Inhibition is a force from inside you, not a law, not something like that. It could be your conscience, which is the part of your heart or your brain that tells you this is wrong. Stop. That's your conscience. So your conscience inhibits you from, so you have certain, people have certain inhibitions towards certain things. So you feel inhibited to do certain things. You have certain principles inside you. You know principles? He's a man of principles. Ray is a man of principles in his dreams. Man of principles. If you're a man of principles, means you have certain things that you believe in, and these are conscientious things, these are moral things that you believe in, moral, ethical values, moral and ethical values. It could be rules. So you have certain moral values for yourself, moral rules for yourself that you believe in them, and you usually abide by those rules. You have your own principles. For example, you may not believe in a religion, but you don't want to cheat, not because the religion says don't cheat. You don't want to steal because the religion tells you don't steal. Because you have your own principles, your own personal, ethical, and moral rules and values. The beliefs, the things that you believe in and adhere to. Yes? So those are, so then we have the issue of self-restraint. I restrain myself from doing certain things. That's why in the US, self-restraint has taught abstinence. Abstinence versus protection. When it comes to sex, this is a huge issue. Abstinence, to abstain from sex, to abstain from alcohol, this is important. So, to abstain from sex, alcohol, drugs, etc. You abstain from these things means to stay away. To stay away from these things for certain reasons. And abstaining is called abstinence. So in the US, the conservative people believe in abstinence, whereas the liberals mostly believe in protection. Protection is what? Condoms, pills, things like that. The conservative people believe in abstinence, no sex. Keep your legs together. That's their slogan. The liberals say, that's nonsense, that's not going to happen. And it's like Prohibition that never worked. If you tell people don't drink, everybody drinks. It didn't work in the US. For such a long time, for 13 years, people made gin in their bathtubs. It's called bathtub gin. It was called bathtub gin. So we had a lot of people who would smuggle alcohol, bootleggers and all that. So that's why the liberals believe that doesn't work. They also believe that people should be free to decide. So they believe in protection, whereas the and protective measures and preventive measures and prevention, you know, unprotected sex, right? Unprotected sex. Unprotected sex is when you have sex without protection, without a condom, or without pills. That's anti-pregnancy pills, right? But the word abstain is extremely important. To abstain from drugs, abstain from alcohol, abstain from sex. And it's called abstinence. On the other hand, we have prevention or protection. Something restrains me from doing things, something inhibits me from doing certain things. My conscience inhibits me from doing certain things. This is called self-restraint. You restrain yourself to give in to your desires sometimes, which is the stupidest thing you can do. No, something that you should do if you have principles. For example, you say, "Oh, that's such a nice cake," but you should restrain yourself from eating it. I never do it personally. You should. Thank you.
We all the time.